We can simply set aside land for conservation and say, hey, it's safe for future generations. The biodiversity is conserved for future generations. We have to be the stewards of the land because we have all these invasive species.
Well, southern Arizona is known for its beautiful sunsets and environments, but across the Sonora Desert, invasive plants are taking up too much space. Volunteers gathered this morning at a mountain to pull these plants out, and that's where we find our 13 News reporter Andres Rendon. Now, Andres, you were out there all day today. What was that like?
Well, Sean, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting to come out here, record everyone doing their thing, and take some notes. These guys put me to work, but I'm not complaining because it was pretty fun. The main mission today, take out the buffalo grass, something folks say is essential for the environment. Take a look.
Take a quick hike, put on some gloves, and get to work. That's what this morning looked like for dozens of volunteers at Sentinel Peak Park. And it's all to remove this plant from the environment, buffalo grass.
It's an invasive species that threatens the swallows and all the biodiversity in the desert. And a big piece of it is educating the people who have never come out for a buffalo grass pull before so they know what the plant looks like, they can identify it. And learn how to pull it up.
This week's rain made pulling the roots out of the ground much easier, but when the soil is drying up or if the roots are just stuck in the ground, a couple of swings with the hammer or pickaxe will do just the trick. And pulling buffalo grass out of the ground does more than help native species thrive. It also lowers the risk of wildfires.
Our native plants are not adapted to withstand fire, and so buffalo grass brings in this threat not only to the desert but into our urban environment. That presents a threat to our homes and businesses, the places where we work and live.
Among the volunteers pulling the grass out of the ground was one mother and son duo who have been pulling buffalo grass together since 2008.
When I went off to school in 2008, that's when I came to my mother and said, listen, Mom, it's time for me to pass the torch on. It took a little bit of convincing, but fortunately, it took one outing for you to get hooked.
Yeah, and then it became an obsession.
It's an obsession that has grown for almost 20 years, but what keeps them coming back? Well, it's the feeling of joy in knowing they gave back to their desert home.
We do make progress. Okay, progress is small, and it takes time, but we are making progress, and I just love doing it. It's just a very intimate experience with the desert, to be right there on your hands and knees and trying to preserve it.
All right, now Save the Saguaros month goes all the way up until March 9th, but guys, you can pull, what's the name? Buffalo grass, right? That's the name. You can pull it out of the ground any time of the year because, like I said, that's invasive. It's not good for the desert. Now, if you want to learn about more resources about when this group will be meeting to take the grass out of the ground, you can head on down to our site at KOLD.com. Live in your Sentinel Peak Park, Andres Rendon, 13 News.